Hello, everyone. We are live. Lois is still tweeting.
No, I'm done now.
Anna,
I'm done.
we are having technical difficulties. It's been a time. The last 10 minutes have been very chaotic. But please, 10 people are here already.
We think we're
Hello.
sorted. 10 people.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh no, we lost Anna.
This might happen throughout the live stream today, but we will manage. We'll make it work somehow. Today's
And Izumi should be joining us at some point as well.
Anna's back. Unseen skaters. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. If you're new, please subscribe as well. We have some exciting stuff coming in the next couple of weeks.
We have a couple of potential guests lined up for live streams,
which we are very excited about.
You might find out later in this stream who they are or who one of them is.
And I also have a cocktail made for Canada. It's a maple syrup old-fashioned. So whiskey, maple syrup, and bitters. Let's see if I like it and if I get drunk at the end of it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And Izumi should join us later. I think somebody said that, but I don't know.
I did, yes.
It's all a blur.
Drunk already.
I was trying to set up the PowerPoint presentation. And I panicked. Should we start?
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Anna, I believe, is kicking us off.
They are, yes, with the pairs.
Oh, no. I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Amazing. Great. So our pairs podium, we have with gold Sarah Barham and Daniel Tumensev from the US. With silver, we have
Oh no,
we've lost the sound.
We've lost sound.
Oh no.
Oh no.
In silver we have Anastasia Golubeva and Hector Giotopoulos more, and in bronze we have Violeta Sirova and Ivan Kopta.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for the rescue.
I was like, yes.
It happens. We're live.
I have been having trouble today
this is
my
problem with
my
live streaming
through my table. So this is a team effort, but
we'll all take a name. We'll get there eventually.
Okay.
Anyway, this was
the pairs competition.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I think that we were not necessarily surprised with the gold and silver, but maybe in the order of them. What did you guys think?
Yes, I would have predicted going in that it would have been the reverse, and that it would have followed the same trajectory as the Junior Grand Prix final, and that the Australians would have been first and the Americans would have been second. I was very happy to see the Ukrainians in third. I know this is like a tight battle going on. Obviously, they I think they're in fourth after the short program, and the French were in second. Yes, but the French are a little bit more chaotic when it comes to elements, and so obviously slipped down in the free skate.
Yeah, I really enjoy the Ukrainian team. I also just really enjoy the energy. I think probably.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
This is not going well.
Never happened before. We are not prepared for this.
If you're new, this never normally happens.
No,
this is bad technology day.
Yeah, it's not going well.
Lost you.
Okay, so obviously there was some mentioning and some talk about the fact that Hector seemed to have injured his knee, which obviously affected the planned jumps, because they had a very yeah, maybe Anna could type in the chat, maybe. Yeah, so obviously they have like big jumps planned, which is one of the reasons why they are one of the favorites for the competition. Obviously, all of their elements are good, but the jumps are particularly a big score bonus. So yeah, Hector seemed to have injured his knee, and I hope it's not too bad and that he will be better for Senior Worlds, because obviously they are meant to be there as well, along with the Ukrainian team. And it was just a case of the obviously, actually, it wasn't even a jump mistake in the short program. It was a death spiral issue. He never quite got his knee locked and lost that entire element. So yeah, they were always going to be at a disadvantage. And if considering Sophia and Daniel upgraded their throw to a triple in the short, I think they played it safe in the free and did doubles. They were always going to be easily in the mix for the title, upgrading their elements.
Yeah, I have to say I agree. I didn't expect. I mean, it wasn't that it couldn't happen. I just personally thought the Australians would also win the event. I think that was their goal coming into this season, staying as a junior team.
Yeah.
Also, just want to mention what an incredible job Sophia and Daniel did with because of their coach Todd Sand. He had a heart attack the morning of the free skate, I believe, and so coming into the free skate, like, I can't imagine how that must have been for them mentally, trying to prepare for that. So I think they did an incredible job with that as well.
Yeah, they're very resilient kids.
Just a quick side note, Anna's running to their parents' house. So
hopefully
cool.
They'll be here in about 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
You want to highlight that question?
This one.
Yeah. So after these two teams appear at Senior Worlds, do they have to go senior next year? Or are the Australians going to go senior anyway due to age? You don't have to go senior after you've been at Senior Worlds. You can continue to do double duty. The Ukrainians have confirmed they're going to stay junior next year. The Australians were obviously going to go up anyway because they are aging out. And Hector is officially too old to be a junior anymore. They did have the opportunity to go senior this year and chose to stay junior. They were originally assigned to senior Grand Prix, but you cannot do double duty on the Grand Prix and do senior and junior. Stipulation, asterisk, unless you are doing two different disciplines. So if Leah and Trent had got together earlier, she technically could have done both the Junior Grand Prix as a single skater and the Senior Grand Prix as a pair skater. I think.
That's so wild.
That's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the, like, there's no stipulations on Worlds and Junior Worlds and Senior Worlds. You can do both as long as you are age eligible for both. But yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to highlight that because it also reminded me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was just thinking about the Austrian pair team who retired last year and how they had an emotional few months where I've forgotten how to say his name. It was the same coach that Bruno Masso had, who had a heart attack and died. And they had to withdraw from Europeans because they just were not in the mental place to be competing after they'd suffered that turmoil just like a few months prior.
Jean-Francis Ballester,
yeah,
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's amazing that they got to do what they could do, essentially, with all of that happened in a few short hours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane. A lot of talk about the ages. Yes. So Baron Tumensov, Murakami Maraguchi, as well as Ackerman. I think it's Ackerman Harms. I can't remember the German teams.
German.
Yes. All are ineligible to go senior, but also are ineligible to stay junior. There is potentially going to be some rule changes that are being discussed, either to allow them to compete junior again, or maybe they'll have to sit out. The two of those teams would have to sit out a year, even with the prior rule for ages. If the rule for the ages was the same as it used to be, they would go up to senior in a year, but obviously the age has been increased, so that wouldn't apply now. I think they would have to sit out 3 seasons. So it may be that maybe they get to stay in junior for another year and then go up to senior and get grandfathered in because they were pairs before the Congress rule was changed regarding age. We'll see what comes of that. Obviously, there'll be documentation at some point during the off season, probably round after Worlds, about any potential changes for that.
Have you talked about this?
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever said a reason why you can't do both the junior and senior Grand Prix, because it's not like stipulated in the rules, I don't think. But I just think it's to give skaters different skaters opportunities. I don't think you would want skaters doing double duty like that for the Grand Prix because they're invitational and you're trying to highlight certain skaters. I don't think you'd, because you've got like the junior Grand Prix starting earlier in the season and then you have the senior Grand Prix and they specifically don't clash with one another. So I think you would have the juniors and then you have the seniors. You don't really want to have them combined.
I hope that answered that question.
I mean, that's just my theory. That's not like what I know them to think, but I just don't like. You want
if anybody knows it, it's you.
I really enjoyed Sophia and Daniel's short program.
I have a real like I was gonna say I have a real like soft spot for blah 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 cha cha cha. I know some people hate it, but I love that music.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if that was the program they did last year, but we saw them last year at it was like a California event or something, I think. And
yeah,
we were excited for them to be able to compete junior, and then obviously all of the age rules were still applicable then. But yeah, I think it's a fun program.
I know some people are kind of on it for being like maybe a bit too flirty, but I think it's only as flirty as you make it. I don't think they play up to that too much.
Yeah.
I feel like Anna probably has more to say because it's their favorite discipline, but
one of their favorites.
This is good filler talk for Anna to get to the
parents' house. Shout out to Naomi Williams and Lachlan Lua, who have only been partners for I think about 8 months. Obviously didn't compete on the only team here who didn't compete on the Junior Grand Prix, came in with no world standing whatsoever, only got their minimums like a week after nationals, but they did a great job, and they look really promising for the future. I'm glad they've got more time in juniors.
I think they impressed everyone with the short amount of time they were together.
Can you talk about how the number of Junior Grand Prix spots are determined? I.e., is it based on the medal placements for the winners of the prior Junior World Championships? I don't know exactly how they determined these rules. They basically kind of go down the results from Junior Worlds and say like the first 3 countries will get 2 in 7, so 2 spots in 7 events. Then it's 1 in 6, so 1 spot in 6 events. And any countries that do not fulfill the quotas that they receive, say Australian pairs are not going to fulfill the 3, I think it's 3 and 4 for pairs or whatever. They're not going to fulfill those numbers because they don't have another Australian pair, as far as I know. So they will get passed on to the next country. So Canada will probably get like more places than they would have done because they didn't fall in the top of the podium this time. So they'd probably get passed on. It's completely the opposite to everything else in like senior events. Like it's potentially being discussed that unfulfilled places will get passed on to other countries. That's currently not a thing. But yeah, it will be. It's all determined by the order that you kind of place at Junior World Championships.
Sarah is just saying that she also has internet problems. We are doing this, just the two of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all very like, you need to like look at it very like hard to figure it all out.
Well, now it's just the two of us.
Oh God. Oh my God, this is very dramatic. Should we move on to the next event?
Yes. Let's talk about the next event for now, and then if Anna wants to add anything.
Yeah. Do you want to announce this one?
I'm not prepared for this.
If you're not prepared, okay. Gold, we have Mao Shimada from Japan. Silver, we have Jia Shin from South Korea. And bronze, we have Amy Nakai from Japan. This would probably be the podium we would have predicted, because it's kind of similar to the Junior Grand Prix final, though I think slightly different. But we all kind of assume Mao Shimada would blow everyone away with a win here. It's very interesting, I think, that I saw somebody point this out, that all of the returning medalists from last year finished in the same place they were last year. So Jia Shin was silver last year and silver again. The Australian pair was silver and silver again. And Nadia and Peter in dance were bronze last year and bronze again. It's very strange that none of them managed to upgrade on their medals. But obviously different fields and different people competing end up in different results. But yeah, obviously Mao is she's a revelation. She's incredible. She's got extremely difficult jumps and amazing spins, and she's a good little performer. But I saw some debate, if you want to move on to our slide, regarding
yes,
the eligibility. Because I tweeted I think yesterday about how Mao Shimada is now eligible in the future for a Super Slam because she has the Junior Grand Prix final and the Junior Worlds title. Obviously, she can't earn any more titles because she can't go senior until 2026, 2027, which is not a real year. But like, we saw a lot of discourse about the fact that she's kind of like stuck in juniors until then, and we entirely agree with the age change. Like, we think kids should remain kids for as long as possible in the sport and not have to deal with the pressures of senior competition. So I'm fully behind the fact that they've changed the age, and it's a shame she misses the cutoff for the Olympics, but it's the victim of age. Like, she can't compete at the Olympics until 2030.
I also think it makes juniors more interesting.
Yeah.
It's not like they are competing differently or like they are not as talented. They're just saying juniors, and it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, protect the children for as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've seen a lot of debate about this in the last few days, but I don't see a problem with keeping children competing with children for longer.
I think it's the transition period where it's like, oh, that's a shame that she can't go on and compete and do other things. But
I get it, because she has like the highest score of the entire women's field, but what they are currently training children to do is not necessarily the same as what women can do.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, it's not necessarily a fair playing field, and it will be interesting to see what, in terms of Ultra C elements, triple axels, quads, Mao retains by the time she gets to senior, because we don't know what her growth is going to be like, and whether she'll be able to maintain those jumps.
So Skating Fan is asking, do you think it was a fair podium based on the scoring? Amy being third was a little controversial after the fall.
I think that I get why it's controversial, but I also think Amy is a more well-rounded skater than, say, UJ. I also don't think UJ, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, I don't think UJ should have been ahead of Minsol, even though she had the triple axel. I don't think her performance and skating skills are as advanced as Minsol's are. I think it just comes down to like experience, and obviously UJ only had one Junior Grand Prix, which really annoyed me. I thought she should have had a second one. But I think Minsol should have edged ahead of UJ, and I think Amy, despite the fall, has better other skills than those two skaters to justify her being in third. But that's my opinion. Also, like shout out to Nini again, Zangi, who obviously also only had one Junior Grand Prix, and her presence on the international stage has been delayed because of China's COVID policies and like no Junior Grand Prix existing for a while. I think she did an amazing job, and she's a very beautiful skater, and I can't wait to see her trajectory, even though there are a lot of concerns regarding her environment back home.
We have a lot of comments coming in. Oh my god, I have to pay attention.
I know, there are so many. I can't keep up with them all.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for interacting with us, especially because of the technical difficulties. So at least we can talk to you guys if we cannot talk to each other. I think this would also be an interesting question from Xenia again. Do you think that the ISU would raise the tech minimum for the singles World Junior Championship?
That's interesting. They might. It's currently 25 for the short, I think, for both men and women, and then I think the women is 40 and the men is 44, if I remember correctly. I could see it maybe going up, but I don't think it would be by much, although I don't even know if there's justifiable reason for that, because you want as many countries to be represented in the junior ranks as possible, because that's sometimes, especially for small federations, they haven't quite reached the skill level to regularly compete in seniors. So having that lower threshold for juniors means more variety of countries can compete. Like sometimes it's hard for, say, rarer for a small federation to have like a triple or anything like that, and it's much more freeing in juniors, because you could have a double jump and still potentially be competitive. But yeah, exactly, as Marla said, you want to encourage smaller feds, so I don't necessarily think raising it would be the best idea.
I think the other side to that argument is when you look at the senior world championships and the women's tech men's being raised, you're sort of arguing on one side that, you know, they should lower the tech men's for the senior women. And then is it the same argument for, like, you're going against that argument to say higher it for the junior women? Because I see that 47 is a lot of entries. And I know I saw people saying, could they like change the judges halfway through, but then that wouldn't make it an even competition.
That wouldn't be fair.
It is like a tough watch. I admit I didn't watch 47 women skate. To be fair, I didn't watch much of.
Watched most of them, but you know, I put in the effort to do that. No, obviously not everyone would.
Also, like sometimes apparently you just have to work during the day and then
yeah.
I mean, it was obvious even by the end of the competition that even Ted was getting tired, and the Junior Grand Prix and everything is like Ted's baby. Like he is the one who got it out there in the first place in terms of like viewership. Yeah, and even he was clearly getting exhausted by the end, and like the nice shine was slowly wearing off, and he was getting like a little bit more critical, a little bit more criticism.
Yeah. I'd like to say Calgary is 7 hours behind the UK. Competitions are finishing at like 4 a.m.
They're all finishing at 4
couldn't do that. So yeah, it's, I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, it's two sides of an argument, and then if you, I think it's hard to really stick to one side or like say for sure. But I love the fact that small fed skaters get that opportunity at Worlds, to be on like the world stage, because you don't know what the future is going to hold ultimately. So if that gets to be their one like big moment in skating, I love that smaller fed juniors get to have that.
There are a lot of small fed skaters who just compete as juniors and then they move on and go to university and carry on with the rest of their lives, and they only end up, yay, Anna's back, and only are able to compete when they're juniors. They don't have the sustainability in the sport to keep going longevity-wise. Interesting question from Karen here regarding qualifying round for Junior Worlds.
Wait. I have a bunch of them highlighted.
It's like the third up.
But also, I'm very excited for Anna to be back.
I am not aware
Oh,
if they changed the rules for Junior Worlds as what like they are doing for Senior Worlds. I don't.
Lois,
think
one second,
that.
because I would like Itsumi to join us.
Itsumi as well. The whole gang's here.
We made it.
So yeah, I don't think they've mentioned if there's going to be a qualifying round for Junior Worlds when they're changing the system. I don't think they've said that. So I assume there isn't one. I assume it's keeping the same that it is now, for now. Maybe if they decide they like how the qualifying round is going for the seniors, they'll potentially bring it in for the juniors. I don't know.
I love how our tiles are so small now. Because there's so many of us now. I also have wanted to highlight this one.
Yes. Her color was lovely.
And we got a lot of comments in a very short time, and I can barely keep up. I got this one. I got Anna. If there's anything you want to add to pairs,
I was listening while frantically driving to my parents' house in the next town over, so I could use their Wi-Fi. So you're getting like me in the room. So I think my one comment for the pairs that we hadn't talked about already was the Canadian pairs. I think it was really interesting, the order of the three pairs. And I really like Chloe and Kieran, but I'm also very worried about their future. I think her jumps are looking really hard. So I don't want to be too negative. I'm hopeful they can get
I mean,
off season, but it was looking a little stressful today. They have so much going for them. But I'm a huge fan of Ava and Jonathan. Not so much at this point because of their actual skating, as because I got to train with them and their coach last year, and they are just like the loveliest people. And they come from a rink in Manitoba that has like never had a pair before and never had skaters competing at this level. Their coach has done an amazing job like bringing them up, and so I'm not even Canadian, but I have this like soft spot for Canadian pairs because they're just like a lot of really lovely people in that world. And I really like that seeing that at the junior level that they have they're bringing up like one team here was from Saskatchewan, one was from Manitoba, and then there's one like training with Bruno, as you might expect. But I think it's really a good sign for the future of that discipline in that country, at least, to see that there are pairs that are coming from so many different places.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fair that all of us are quite concerned with the trajectory of Chloe and Kieran because they have the performance quality and they clearly, I would say, probably have one of the best like emotional connections in their performances of the entire field at Junior Worlds. But the tech is really gonna let them down. I mean, it let them down here in terms of they won nationals and they fell behind the silver medalists in the actual Junior Worlds results. But obviously they have to go senior next year, and currently the way the jumps and even sometimes the throws are looking, they're going to really struggle in a senior field if that doesn't get better over the summer. And it's been a problem the entire season.
Yeah, and it's not
so I worry for them, but I hope for the best.
Yeah, and it's not that the senior field is so deep that they won't get anything, I hope, but there are a couple of newish teams and new teams that have established themselves at the senior level this year, and it'll be hard for teams that are coming up behind them to get some of those spots, I think.
And even getting minimums could be hard if they don't have a clean skate.
All right. Well, we'll hope that they will get it together.
We wish them for the best.
And then we talk quite a bit about. Oh, there's another comment. Yeah.
He obviously used to coach Natalie and Bruce, who we deeply miss.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, I'm very hopeful for their future, and yeah, I was excited to see them doing so well here, especially after missing the Grand Prix final.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, and also Marla said that she applauds Anna's dedication to being on this live stream, and we do too. We appreciate it very much.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and then we talked about women quite a bit. I don't know if you listened in, if there's anything you would like to add, or we can move on to men.
I did. I mean, I feel like all of my thoughts about women are just like random shout outs to people in the middle of the pack, which I think is going to be the theme for me on both women and men, because for somehow this year I have just gotten a lot of new favorites. But I was going to say I really enjoyed the program from Inga, the Georgian girl. So much commitment to her like horror theme. That was really fun to see. Very talented. And I also really enjoy Maria Elise Kaljuvere from Estonia. Her free skate wasn't so great here, but she's like actually today is her birthday. I just remembered that. I saw that earlier today. So happy birthday to now 14-year-old.
Yeah, she's very young.
That's so young.
But I think she's someone who at that age already has a really great sensitivity to the music and her body positions. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how she develops. And also just kind of random, but I want to give a shout out to, I'm going to mispronounce her name, but Bacharatida Kanashige, who's from Thailand. It was really great to see her make the free skate and to see a Thai skater that is starting to do quite well here. So just a few that stood out to me. And then I have a question about the women that I feel like maybe one of you will have an answer to, or maybe this is just a mystery for the ages, but why did this season so many of the European women decide to wear black tights?
I don't know. That's interesting. I do think a lot of them are kind of being fashioned in the same style as Camila. Because she used to have like she used to like wear very long dresses, and I don't think a lot of them are doing that. But and also Trasova used to do this as well when she was a junior. They used to wear very colored, like she used to wear like gray tights or dark colored tights, like to go with different programs or whatever, rather than the classical look. So I do think some of it is kind of adopting that fashion. But yeah, I that would be my guess.
That makes sense because it does seem like it's mostly it's mostly the junior skaters, mostly the skaters from small federations, often Eastern European. Like I was thinking about, I think there was at least one Latvian who had it, and but I feel like you would go through a year normally and maybe only see like one person who had wearing tights that were not attempting to be skin tone and. I'm actually okay with it in theory, in that I like it when people have interesting costumes. But it was just an odd thing. And once I started noticing it, then I started seeing it everywhere, and it was like very distracting. And so then I was thinking, oh, it's another skater with dark tights, not like, oh, here's this person.
I also very much noticed that two of the skaters, I don't think either of them made the free skate. I think it was Vanessa Selmakova and Anna Levkovitz. Both had Alina Kostanaya Twilight tribute programs. And it's not even just like they're doing Twilight programs, they're using exactly the same music cuts that she used in her program, except like changing it from a free skate to a short program. And I'm like, this is very clearly what you're doing. I get the honoring, and I get it, but also I kind of want to see who you are, not who you're a fan of.
There are a lot of comments again. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, I saw regarding Anrieke Fataritida Kenshigi, as Unseen Skater said, that she was recovering from an injury. Obviously, if she had not been injured, I think she would have placed even higher in the field. I know she's been training a triple axel and attempted it a few times in competition. And I'm so happy for her that there is going to be a Junior Grand Prix in Thailand next year, and that she gets to kind of like be the star of the show for that. Because obviously, if she's not assigned there, that's just stupid. So she should be assigned there. So yeah, I can't wait to see her develop, hopefully with less injuries.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed Laureen Shield, French skater, who I feel like I must have seen on the juniors before, but just hadn't stood out to me, I guess. But in this field, she's certainly, older and on the cusp of being a senior, and it, just in the way that she presents herself, it really stood out, her maturity in comparison to some of the other skaters.
She'll be at Senior Worlds as well in a couple of weeks, because she's. I heard that apparently Leah Serna maybe has an ankle injury or a foot injury or something, and that's why they elected to send Laureen instead. Karen asking, did Kimi get hit by Shinamano on her rotations? If you are not aware of who Shinamano is, he is notoriously one of the most strictest technical panel people in sport, and has shown no mercy in regarding to calling edges and rotations. And so I think Kimi
to answer that. Yeah, in her short program, she got dinged on all of her jumps. She also got edge calls on both of her Lutz jumps, and in the free, she didn't get any rotation calls.
But
she even said, I think in her post free skate media, she was like, I tried really hard to jump higher today to make sure my rotations were better. And we've lost Sarah. She gave us that, and then she left. But yeah, she even said she tried really hard to make sure her rotations were better in the free skate rather than when she got dinged for everything in the short program.
I think a lot of people were quite upset about the strict judging.
Yeah, we saw a lot of discourse about Anna Pizzetta not making the free skate, and I love Anna Pizzetta. I think she has incredible jumping technique, like her triple Lutz, triple toe. When you see it in practice, it's huge. The problem is her consistency and managing to remain calm under pressure in competition and actually deliver in competition and not pop things. And that's Sarah looks so done. But yeah, I hope she gets more consistent, but I'm not going to attack the technical panel for her not making the free skate.
I agree. If it's applied equally, it's okay.
Yeah.
I just think, of course, you are upset if you don't make the free because of strict judging. That might not have happened if it's less strict, but
yeah.
I also saw a lot of people in the comments that I saw people making about her step sequence. It was clear that there's a lot of misunderstanding about what makes a step sequence get its levels, and that it's not just that it could look like they're doing exactly the same thing as when they got a level 4, but if those edges and those turns are not being done well enough, basically, then you're not going to get those levels, and that's not always super obvious to you watching on TV. But it's another one of those things, like under rotations, that can be really frustrating, because it can look fine, it can look great, and then have that not reflected in the scores. So I did understand the frustration with that, but these are calls that have happened to everybody, where you're like, how could that possibly be? But it's what they're seeing.
I also think, and I'm not sure if you've said this already when I was gone, so apologies if you have, but it gives the skater maybe a learning point, something that they can, say, okay, so next time I know where I need to improve on. Even if it is the end of the season, last time they're doing the program, next season they know, what they can work on.
Yeah. In terms of, I've seen some skaters have issues with assessment of their step sequences this year from one competition to another. Same choreo. Can anyone shed light on that? I am not very skilled in knowing the ins and outs of the technicalities of step sequences. I just know when they look pretty and when I like them. But just because the choreography is the same doesn't mean the skater is doing exactly what is necessary for them to do in terms of the steps and how they're executed and the edges and the clusters and all of that kind of stuff. And different tech panels at different competitions may score things differently. So if you are at a B competition that's kind of remote, you may get a more lax technical panel who will give you a level 3 or a level 4. And then you get to Junior Worlds and you have Shinamano who will give you a level 1 because he's like, you're not doing it right.
And hopefully what happened, I'm sure in this case, that somebody from, the Italian Federation went to talk to the tech panel and got, what was it that made you make this call? And they could say, oh, it's because every time you did a rocker, we thought your edge wasn't clean. And so we didn't count any of those rockers or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Made it be that and get some more specific feedback.
I
know that I didn't know that happened, I would say, until this season, like learning that there is that actual feedback that skaters can get from the tech panel and the judges after competitions, so that they do hear a little more than we do about like why a call was made. Still, they might still completely disagree with it, but like they're at least getting some of that. I do think it's hard when you see something like a choreo sequence get invalidated partway through the season, when that really is about, I was doing the same moves as before and now you've decided that those moves don't count. We saw that happen to a couple different skaters in different competitions this year. So there's definitely some areas where I think there could be more clarity in the rules about what is or isn't getting counted, but hopefully Anna and anybody else in that position actually got some useful feedback from the panel.
Can we block Ghost? That is my dad. Please. I told him not to watch.
Block?
I told him he will get blocked if he comments.
So he did it on purpose.
I won't do that. I just said hello to your dad, so.
Okay, well.
Hello,
okay.
Sarah.
I knew you would do that.
That's so funny. Sarah, please don't stop talking about that.
Yeah, if I go again, I promise it is my internet, not me. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Ghost was blocked for 5 minutes.
I put it in a timeout. Sorry. This isn't professional enough. Right.
Did you have anything about the women?
Maybe we should move on to men looking at the time. I don't know. Is it the next
ice dance?
Oh, ice dance. Sorry.
Anna just asked Izumi if she had any opinions about the women.
Oh, of course. Oh my god. So sorry.
No.
Please.
I would have shouted out the Ukrainian pairs, but I'm assuming you've done that already. Like, I just really enjoyed it.
But it's always good to shout them out again.
Yeah. I really enjoyed their program, like, as a program as well. And, like, obviously as skaters, like, all the respect to them. And it's just really nice to see them, like, improve so much over the season as well. So, yeah. Shout out.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to ice dance.
My My favorite event, of course. In first place was Katerina Mrazekova and Daniel Mrazek. In second place was Hannah Lim and Yi Kwan. And in third place was Nadia Bashinka and Peter Beaumont.
And slightly biased shout out to our pewter medalist, even though that's not a thing outside of America, for Phoebe Becker and James Hernandez, who would have been bronze had they not had an extended lift.
I know. They were both very frustrated with it. But,
Sarah was as well.
Yes. But yeah, this was the only event Canada medaled in, I believe. But I think coming into it, it was very clear that the Mrazeks were going to win. If you looked at the scores that they were receiving, oh, that's even more painful, Amy.
It's painful, Amy. It's painful.
Yeah, if you looked at the scores that like the Mrazeks had during the season, I think it was clear that they were going to come in to win the event. After the Junior Grand Prix final, and I think Katerina had an injury at some point last month as well.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah.
There was a lot of kind of speculation going into this event, and I think people are overestimating home inflation and home cooking. Maybe in the sport in general, but particularly in ice dance.
And with Skate Canada.
And with Skate Canada, true. Because a lot of people were under the assumption that Peter and Nadia were going to sail to the gold here. And the fact that the Mrazeks were third at the Grand Prix final with 4 falls said to me that, and also broke the rhythm dance record twice this season, said to me there was no doubt that if they didn't make a big mistake, they were going to win this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then I think second, third, fourth was really, to be honest, second place to about sixth place was a toss-up, to be honest. It could have been any combination of people. It really depended on what happened during the skate. We saw Liga and Artem had a lower scoring rhythm dance, which they did also at nationals, I think, and then they came back with a massive score in the free dance, which obviously like is national scoring, but it's still
an indication.
Yeah. Phoebe and James, I'm still so sad about that. I'm scared to talk about it.
They skated so freaking well as well. Like, it's so
they
annoying.
Did. But they broke 100 in the free dance, which was great.
Did. We'll take our wins where we get them. Do you want to highlight some of these comments from
Yes, of course.
What do you think about the Mrazekova? I love people calling them Mrazekova. Moving up to seniors next year and not staying in juniors. Do you think they can still stay on top? I am of the opinion, and I have a superstition, that if you are age eligible and you win Junior Worlds, you should go up to Senior Worlds. Back in the day, Lorraine McNamara and Quinn Carpenter won Junior Worlds, stayed junior, and then finished 7th the following season, and that essentially ruined their momentum and trajectory going into seniors. So if you win Junior Worlds and you are age eligible, you should go up to seniors and not risk dropping again the following year, because I think you gotta ride the momentum, because ice dance more than any is about riding momentum. Yeah. But do I think they can stay on top? I mean, I do think they have maybe more weaknesses than some of the other teams who are going senior, because I think obviously they're aging out, they're a bit more mature, but they obviously are faster than everyone else. So whether that is, it will be a help in some cases, but it also could be a hindrance, because I think we've seen with when Marjorie and Zach first went senior, they were very fast, but they also got dinged a lot on levels. So it can be an issue maintaining a high standard of skating when you are going that fast.
Who else among the top 4 so here do you think is going senior next year?
I think everyone. Top 4.
All of them, because the other 3 teams are all aging out.
Okay.
So yeah. And
I think it's gonna bring like a breath of fresh air to next season's next senior season of ice dance, and it'll be very interesting to see where they all sort of slot, because I'd be interested to see where like the Mrazics fit in, say at the World Championships, European Championships, because it's been a while since we've had a team that ahead that move into senior. I think the last one would have been Avonlea and Vadim, but they didn't compete senior, I believe. COVID happened and then they split.
Yeah. Grim Savitsky's withdrew made me very upset, but since all pairs are placing above them here, we'll go senior. They'll hopefully have a great next season. I do think it is potentially between them and Nesset Markelov for the gold next year. I think that's probably the battle we'll see. I feel like that's the rivalry that's probably going to be built up.
Why did they withdraw?
Also, in terms of the Mraz-Kobai, they will obviously immediately get an opportunity to go to Euros because the Tashlers earned a second spot. Whether they will be, I don't think they'll be able to get into the top 10 at Worlds. We will see. And then there might be an internal domestic battle, but I still think the Tashlers will be ahead for next year.
Okay, that was going to be my question. Yeah. I personally
obviously
think Tashlers a lot better as stylistically, but I also, my ice dance opinions are still mostly based on vibes.
It's a little bit easier for
which is completely valid.
It also helps that I've seen them twice in person and was very impressed with the Tashlers in person, and I have not seen the Mrazikovi in person, so maybe I would be more impressed with them if I had.
I think they still have work to do in terms of their performance and maybe emotional connection. Because I think the Tashlers have a very unique brand of performance where they're very outwardly performing. So they're very... They immediately get the audience on side because they're so performative towards to the audience rather than each other. Like a slightly easier... at least sad face every time Sarah disappears. It's obviously an easier transition for Becca Hernandez in a way because Fear and Gibson are earning those spots at Euros and Worlds, and so they kind of immediately, as soon as they get their minimums, they have that spot guaranteed. So, and it's going to be a lot harder for, say, Pershinska Beaumont because the Canadian field's a bloodbath.
I really enjoyed Hannah and Yi's free dance. I did not watch a ton of junior dance during the Grand Prix, so I'm just was sort of rediscovering or discovering a lot of these programs for the first time at Junior Worlds. So I very much enjoyed them, and then also wanted to give a shout out to Helena Carhart and Vladimir Hovey, probably mispronouncing his name, but I really enjoyed them. Was very impressed with how the emotional connection and how just elegant they looked for a junior team.
Yeah, I think they've done really well. I don't think they've been together that long. I mean, they've been together a while. I'd say maybe 2 seasons, maybe 3. But I'm glad they have more time in juniors to continue to develop because obviously COVID ruined everybody's development for a while there. And shout out to Helena Carhart for lending Phoebe Becker her dress for the gala. That was so cute. I love when they do that. It's adorable.
And yes, also I really liked Ashley and Adele. They're so much fun. It was great that they made the fray.
Yes, very happy about that.
And Sarah got to interview them. It was their first interview.
They said it was their first media experience. I was very happy that could happen. But yeah, they're we've I think been following them for 4 or 5 years now, maybe 4.
They were tiny when we first started watching them. Tiny.
Yeah, literally
8 and 10 or something. And now they're competing as juniors, so it's very, very wholesome.
I still remember I recorded a video for
his birthday.
I think 30.
Oh god, I forgot about
I
that.
remember that. Yeah,
It's somewhere out there. Nobody wanted to be on video, and I was like, I'm doing it.
I remember that.
Oh
Like
my god.
the non-English person is going to do it. And look
Oh
at
my
us
God.
now doing live streams. Amazing.
Yeah.
The growth.
I
don't know what I missed. Who did I miss talking about?
I don't think you missed anybody. Really.
Okay.
You didn't miss much.
If this
Yeah,
happens again, I'm going to try on my phone.
Quite a few comments. I don't know which one to pick. If there's anything else we would like to talk about.
Izumi, did you have any Ice Dance highlights?
No, like Anna, mine's just vibes.
I think vibes is very nice. Like, if I like the music, you already got me like 60% there.
Yeah.
70% to be honest.
Yeah.
I like the costumes and the music.
Do you want to highlight Elle's comment? Because I could rave about Cypriot.
I think you'd like their costumes, the Cypriots costumes.
Oh yeah. I've been a fan of I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna call them the Cypriots because I don't know how to say her name. For like since like I first noticed them like first junior year, I was like, oh, this is interesting. There's a Cypriot team, and I went and looked at their novice. I was like, how are they doing this as novices? Like the lift they do at the end where she is balancing on his head. That is a lift they would do back in novices when they were like 13, 15 or whatever. It's mad. They did change the music around a bit, I think, since they moved to Matteo Zani at Young Goose. I think they changed the first song of the free dance, but it still kind of ends with obviously being like a Bring It On kind of tribute. But yeah, it's just really fun, and I love that it really stood out in the field of maybe some more traditional dances. So really happy about that. And I'm glad they've managed to like sort out their rhythm dance because they were not getting like any levels at the start of this year, and it still wasn't perfect, but it was better than it was.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. I did not know that you were allowed to do that lift in.
A lot of people thought it was illegal.
Based on the description, I'm like, how is that not illegal?
I think there was a rule change a couple of years ago. It was the one that like lets you be on someone's shoulders now. It's how like Maddie and Zach got away with their lift, and Lila and Lewis with their Vogue lift as well.
So she's balancing on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can't lift. You lifting somebody above your head. You can't have your arms locked, but you can have them like bent, which is the Zachary and Maddie rule.
Didn't we talk about ice dance and pairs maybe becoming one in the future last time? Because the more we talk about it, the more it's like
Well, because that's the thing. I'd only ever seen anyone do that. The only people I'd seen do this lift were pair skaters in their exhibitions, and so seeing it in dance, I was like, "What?" Because I was if it's not in dance, then why have I never seen a pair skater use it as like a random choreo sequence dance lift in their program? Are pairs not like if you're not trying to use it as like a group, it's like not a group lift, but if you're just using it as a transitional lift, maybe it's just would take too much time as an element in a pair program. But like I'm curious now.
Yeah, because I've seen them do it before. I just kind of think, oh, they must be allowed to do it because I've seen them do it before, even though they haven't done it for a few years. But obviously they had another lift, I think it was last season, that ended up getting changed by the time they got to Junior Worlds, and they had kind of like a flip. Yeah, it was a great lift. It was she would kind of like do a flip in the like he'd throw her and kind of like do a flip in the middle of a lift, but they changed it and made it different by the time they were Junior Worlds because I assume the tech panel said, maybe don't do that. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. I think we're going to make sure you don't do that again.
It was a bit like to watch, but when it turned out well, it was really great.
I loved Lois trying to recreate it. It was yeah, as if I was like there and watched it in person.
Before we move on, which I know we have to do, I just want to shout out the Swiss team, Mila and Lauren, who were 21st after the rhythm dance. Obviously, with Dasha and Michael withdrawing from the free, they couldn't get that like 20th place start, which
it's sad. I feel like that should maybe be allowed.
Yeah, but they had a really cool, like, he had a really cool spinning move in the free dance that I enjoyed. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. And I think then we should move on to junior men. Who is responsible here? Not me, okay.
I think anyone was.
Oh yeah, I might be doing it because I ended up doing pairs earlier when I shouldn't have been. So in gold we have Kalmura, in silver we have Naoki Rossi, and in bronze we have Nozomu Yoshioka.
This is very satisfying competition, even with the mistakes. I just felt it made me realize just how many men were competing across junior and senior, because I realized how many of them I had seen in person this year. And given that I didn't watch any junior competitions, that was notable. And it also made me realize just that I had basically adopted half of the junior men's field, apparently, because I ended up realizing that I had like strong feelings about many of them. But it was nice to see that while there weren't many clean skates here, except just a few, but there weren't too many complete disasters either. So I found it very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all knew that without a doubt Cal was going to win this competition. Like, you can't really bet against the Four Continents champion coming in and just working the ball with everyone. I think he won by about 44 points in the end. It was a very, very big lead.
I missed the Tale as Old as Time section of his freedom. I've been singing along to this music all year. I feel like when I first saw him at Skate America, I did not expect that I was going to come to just appreciate both Cow and this program as much as I have over the course of the season. And so I was like, yes, last time. I was like, I'm so into it. And then I realized that it was the junior version and they'd taken out that. So it's still a great program, but the senior version's better.
Yeah, it's like a good climax to that program, and it's just kind of a little bit disappointing and deflating when it's not there.
I was just looking at the ordinals and I was like, yeah, okay, this is the perfect way.
This is the men's competition.
For the junior men to end the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really sad that Nikolai didn't podium, and if he'd have just landed that second triple axel, he would have been on the podium.
Listen, I'm going to take this one. I think I jinxed him. I posted a TikTok and I was like, oh, he's podiumed in every single event he's been at this season. And then he didn't. That one's on me. I'm sorry.
Time for Sarah's internet to disconnect now.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing against Nozomu, who is very talented and did very well here, but I think I might have given Nikolai the edge on that free skate, even with the fall. I think his components are much stronger than Nozumu's, but
I feel like I don't want to I don't want to be harsh on Nozomu because he's done extremely well in both the Junior Grand Prix final and the Junior Worlds. His tech is incredible. It's almost textbook in some cases. Just if you're going to do a Pirates of the Caribbean program, I'm going to need a bit more performance from you.
Yeah.
Just for it to land. Just like, but yeah, I mean, I can't besmirch him getting the medal he got because he was much cleaner than a lot of the other men were. But I probably would have given Nikolai the edge to him as well.
I was so happy for Naoki, who had the best kiss and cry reaction both here and just all season. He is so funny, and there's a screenshot going around of his face when he realized he had the medal, and he looks like a Muppet, like his mouth is and it is so fun, fantastic. but I definitely had been
he just like
seeing him since he was like a little kid. Like I remember he was in like the like random local novice man performing in the like opening ceremony of the Youth Olympics in Lausanne, and like it's really cool to see him get to this point.
Unseen Skate has an interesting fun fact. Only 6 of the 24 men that made the free skate competed solely in juniors.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, a lot of cross between senior and junior in the event. Yeah, Nia's reaction was funny. Yeah, it's just like because obviously like it came in second in the free skate, and he I'm not made of, and suddenly like it was at first. Oh, so good. And also
lowest?
shout out that it's the first and to medal at Worlds was Switzerland's 1971.
I think Lois' internet might be a bit more.
I thought it was me. Oh my god.
No, it's not you.
I was preparing to switch to my phone. I was like, is this me? Like,
oh no.
Lois was saying that Naoki was the first Swiss man to medal since 1977, which is very and also that point about the 6 junior. I feel like I'm wanting to respond to comments that are like one comment behind, but the with there only being 6 men who were competing only in junior, I wonder if part of that has to do with the difference between the senior level minimums for the men and for the women, because some of the men that I'm thinking of, you know, were people like Adam Hagara and Ed Appleby, and you know, they're junior men who had the minimums to be able to go and do the senior competitions later on, and if they're maybe the equivalent women's skater in their country, even if they were old enough, which maybe that's also a piece of it, might not have had the minimums either.
Yeah, I think predominantly with the women's event as well, I feel like it was a lot younger than usual. I feel like there's a lot of 13 and 14-year-olds competing this year, so obviously a lack of crossover between seniors and juniors.
I'd like to talk about Wesley, because he was second after the short program, and I was very happy. He didn't do his quad, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then I think he went for 2 in the free skate, and it didn't turn out, and I'm sad. I'm very sad for him. I think I get the plan of doing it because almost everyone else that was top had them. And I guess he was trying to go for that medal, obviously home competition. But yeah, and I mean 5th in comparison isn't as bad as it could have been. But yeah, I'm just like a bit sad for him.
I think if he'd have just gone for the triples and gone to skated clean and beautifully, he could have still made that podium pretty easily.
I will miss his Vincent short program because I love that piece of music and I really enjoyed his performance to that. I think it helped him develop a lot.
I will not go in on how much I hate that piece of music.
I was gonna say, a lot of people don't like that he does it. I have loved that cover of it since Piper Paul did it. But a lot of people kind of compare it to Vincent doing Vincent last year. And they're like, oh, why is he doing this? He was doing it at the same time that Vincent was doing Vincent. I just don't think a lot of people saw Wesley last year, so didn't realize that he kept the same program and just kind of thought it was kind of like rehashing kind of what Vincent did, but he was already doing it at the same time Vincent was doing it.
That was a very controversial opinion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like looking at Sarah's face is still just like
I was like no, I love it. When the music comes on, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty.
It really has nothing to do with Wesley or Vincent Joe or Piper and Paul or any, like, all wonderful skaters, all did great programs. I just don't like that piece of music.
It's very valid. Very valid.
I saw somebody commented on Arlette getting second in PCS. I was really happy he did so well here. And just, there's so many great, I think, artistic men coming up through the juniors that it was really just makes me very happy to see, and to see them, skaters at the juniors that you don't have to have the quad, maybe, as you were saying, to at least to do pretty well and be in the top 10, certainly. And it was nice to see some of that being rewarded. I also just, to name a couple others, I really enjoyed Andreas Nordebach, Hung-Young Kim also, I think, is super talented coming up. And of course, Lucas Brossard. And so I'm just happy to be able to see more of them in the future. And just it makes me excited to see how they're going to develop if they already have this kind of skill in the juniors.
Yeah, I feel like particularly bad for Lucas Brossard because I know he was kind of quite devastated with how it ended up. I think the pressure kind of just got too much for him. He was too focused on going for the quad, which, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't landed in international competition yet. He's only done it at nationals. And his triple axel was already a little bit wary and inconsistent on the Junior Grand Prix this year. So the fact that he both fell on the quad attempt and the triple axel attempt, I think really kind of, it was hard for him to handle that after all the pressure and all of that, because he's such a beautiful skater and he's so much more than his jumps. But yeah, I don't know if Lucas has said if he's going senior or not. I don't think he should. At this point. I think he needs definitely another year in juniors.
Yeah, I think a year where he can work on those jumps without quite as much pressure would be good for him. And there isn't a huge, we're seeing there's some good other junior men, but he's not in a place where I think he would worry about losing that momentum too much if he did stay. But,
yeah, that makes sense.
I also just, I really felt like I was watching this and I was like, wow, this second group of the free skate just has like all of the men that I have just enjoyed following this season, partly for their skating, but also just so many that I've really enjoyed getting to talk to a little bit in the mix zone and just appreciating as people. And so I was just, I was actually feeling, as I was watching the stream and listening to Ted going in on how they were all not emoting to their music. And I was like, oh, being a little harsh on all of them for between Adam and Ed and Kirillo Marsak, who I very much enjoy and did actually quite well here. And also I really enjoyed, I don't think I mentioned him when we were talking about Four Continents, but I did really enjoy Dias Jerenbayev. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong, from Kazakhstan. He's the one who's coached by Dennis Ten's mom, and his skating just really reminds me in a nice way of kind of a old-fashioned style. It's partly just the costume and his music choice and everything, but it's just I just find him so pleasant to watch.
Yeah, he's really grown on me this year.
Unseen Skaters also said Lucas will benefit from another Junior Grand Prix season with maybe an ISU Senior Challenger for experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a good transitional kind of thing to do the Junior Grand Prix and then do some challenges. The pressure is less, but you can also increase your ranking that way and get more senior experience without as much pressure on you.
And also I see some other names mentioning. I'm just gonna Levandi.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that.
Yes, and Hugo.
Yes. Yeah, he had like a really cool slide move that reminded me of Ivan Shmatko's. It looks so cool, and I can't wait to see how he progresses in the future because he's got a lot of potential as a performer.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him. Also wanted to give a shout out to Yanhao Lee from New Zealand, who I found super fun and entertaining to watch, and Raffaele Francesco Zeke, who had a tough free skate here, but I really appreciate. He's very talented and has a just really enjoyable skating skills as well.
Yep.
Then we also have Norderbucks. How you pronounce
yeah,
that?
his short was so good, and the free was just, it did not happen. It was like one thing after another, spiraling out of control. It's worrying if he has a back injury and going to see anyone else. Also, Nikolai Badarov, who would be supposed to be the substitute, also has a back injury as well, and I don't think is in any condition to compete. So not a great time for Sweden.
Oh.
And this is, I think, one of the final comments for now.
We want to move into like our favorites.
I think we are, yes. I'm gonna start because we thought we would talk about our favorite junior skaters from this season, and I'm gonna start with Ashley and Ethel, just because we have watched them since the beginning, and they are our babies. I don't care how old they are. If we are still here in 10 years, I will still call them our babies. And it's exciting to kind of see them through like their journey and watch that.
Hate to keep it with the Brits, but I have to say Phoebe and James. I'm so proud of how much they achieved this year, and I don't think I expected them to reach the heights they got to. Not that I thought they were bad or anything. I mean, obviously, the fields changes slightly with certain countries not being in the field, and more opportunities to those who come from smaller federations, which is always nice to see. So they were so close to getting on that podium, and I think they've set themselves up really well to go forward into seniors next year. The program's awesome as well.
We lost Sarah again.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm pointing this out. Everybody can see, but
if somebody's just listening and they're wondering why.
Yeah.
I think so. I was really debating this because, as I have been saying, I have like 20 new favorite junior men, but I think since so many of them were sort of half senior, half junior this year, I was going to go with one of my favorites, who is truly a junior. Like we said, just turned 14, Maria Elise Caliuvere. I very much enjoy her skating, and I'm looking forward to seeing, like, as she gets a little bit more mature, how she can like continue to really bring out more personality to match the just skating skills and musicality that she has.
Also, to everybody listening right now, please comment your favorite skaters as well. I would be interested to see. Sarah, are you with us again? No.
Do you want me to
she's
go?
not
Yes, please.
She's just stoic.
Yeah, I was I think probably Kirilo Marsak.
For now, yes.
Because I think, like, watching him at the Junior Grand Prix, like, you could see there was so much potential, but it wasn't necessarily falling into place. And then, like, him being a substitute for Euros and then getting into Euros and then having that really difficult free and then doing well here and then, like, oh, Sarah's gone. And then, like, having Worlds next. Like, I think it's just really exciting to see, like, how his career is developing and, like, over the course of one season as well. Does anyone know why, like, how the Ukrainian Fed chose who to send to Worlds? Because obviously they didn't have nationals.
I would assume Ivan is maybe still injured, because I know he got injured just before Universiade, which is now called the World University Games, but it's still Universiade in my head. So yeah, and then obviously he can do Euros, and I haven't even seen any videos of him training. So I just assume he's not fit to compete, which is a real shame because he had great programs this year and a great trajectory, and it's just not happened. But Carrillo's risen to the challenge incredibly. Like when I was thinking the other day about the fact that he finished, I think it was 33rd at Junior Worlds last year and didn't make the free skate, not even close to making the free skate, and has just developed so much in the space of a year. He's done such a great job. Do we have Sarah?
Oh, can I also shout out whoever choreographed Nikolai's Free, because it has Samson and Delilah, but like they avoided the temptation to make it Oriental, and like
Yes.
that's like, that is a big deal in figure skating. So just like whoever did that, thank you.
That's very true.
He also like uses like the Muse inspired
Yeah.
Samson and Delilah part as well, which I really like people using. I think it's really fun.
It confused me so much when I first heard it. I was like, I just saw this with Samson and Delilah, but this is definitely Muse, and I was like, I had so confused.
Yeah, it's like Muse have like a Samson and Delilah inspired piece in the repertoire.
I think we lost Sarah again.
I think we lost Sarah again.
I'm just gonna read out some comments because if anybody's watching this and wants to check out some skaters.
Yeah.
Amy mentioned Lucas Broussard and Grimm and Savitsky.
Yeah.
And then Vivian Williams said Arlet. I'm struggling with all of the names. And
that I'm so glad Vivian has said that. It's axle that he does from like a lunge up into the axle is that's so hard. It's so mind-blowingly good.
Yes.
Watch it.
Everybody.
Awesome that he like choreographed his own gala as well, because I know that was, I think it's to the same artist who did the Carmen cover that he did last year. It's like Stromae or whatever. And it's just, he puts on a whole performance. It's not like he's just coming out and having music in the background of skating, which some skaters do. He like choreographs a whole performance to the music.
And then Xenia mentioned Rio. I don't know the first name. Help me. Nobody?
It wasn't a Rio at Junior Worlds, was there? I think there's a Rio.
But also we said favorite skaters overall. So
yeah, exactly. Favorite skaters overall of the season. I mean, there is technically 2 Rios, but there is a Japanese Rio and a Canadian Rio, I think.
Xenia, please specify if you can. Oh.
Yes, okay, the cast of the 40-year-old, yes. I wondered which one you were talking about. But yeah, there's 2. Yeah, he was great. I think he medaled at one of the Junior Grand Prix, and I can't wait to see what he does next year.
And then also there are abbreviations which I will not even try to.
Yeah, I'm obviously Golubeva and Giotopoulos more had a dual season between senior and junior, and obviously they're going fully senior next year. They're completely ready. It's a shame that they weren't able to do 4 continents, because I really think they could have made a push for a podium spot if they'd have been clean. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they fit into the senior field next year. I think they've, like, when doing the senior Grand Prix, they could easily medal. They've got all the skill too.
And also apparently Nikolai is also heavenly.
I think I've seen that before. Yeah, I think I was checking his bio. I think they seem like 2 Italian last names in his choreographers. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think he's said before that like he's kind of involved, like, because it's very like to his style. Like he's a very classical kind of styled skater.
Yeah.
Sarah's still struggling. We will try to drag this out for another 2 or 3 minutes. There's a question. I think the Australians could have done well in senior this year, not just at 4 continents. Why did they choose to stay in juniors?
I think I don't think they've said specifically why, but my theory is that they wanted to potentially win all that they could win in juniors before they go forth into seniors. Also, considering there's prize money on the line and they are a small fed team, if you potentially win at junior level, even though it's less money than you would on the senior level, there's a higher chance of you winning on the junior level than on the senior level. because obviously there's a higher level of competition. So I think they just kind of wanted to solidify, maybe financially and maybe just establishing themselves before they make that final step.
We're gonna try it, Sarah, one more time.
Yeah.
So frustrated. Oh no.
Your
We've lost
audio is...
audio. We've lost audio as well now.
Oh no. Type us your favorite.
You sound very
into a robot.
robotic.
Just type it in the chat.
Type it in the chat. Who is your favorite?
We'll relay
The
it.
anticipation. Because I want to complete this segment. And I'm very curious.
Okay, Baker Hernandez, which
But
is
it was also Lois' name. I'm so sorry you
She's
can't pick
also
that.
mine, but that's fine.
I just gotta say, the OG Anything GOE team here and your love for British ice dance is very solid.
Yeah.
We are very basic. We are very predictable. And I'm very sorry. And I think with Sarah struggling, we should probably let this come to an end.
We also have a
announcing
little
our next-
preview for a
Yes,
future
this is
stream.
what I want to say now.
Yeah.
We have an
I'm joking,
announcement.
finish
Oh, there's another. If you guys have an in with the ISU, ask them to please
We
send.
don't.
We do not. But that would be very cute.
We've been involved in a media thing before where we got to potentially ask questions about the scoring of PCS and stuff, but we don't have an in.
Yeah, but
it's
also,
not an in.
If somebody from ISU is listening right now or is listening in back later on, I think it would be very cute. Please send buses to junior and middle schools and baskets to be spectators at the junior events. I think that would be.
That's
a
also
good idea.
something for the organizing, the host organizing committees may be the ones who would do something like that, and
yeah,
that would be very cool. Because I feel like I want to say at a Europeans there's definitely been a competition where that was done for the random Wednesday afternoon short programs that didn't have many people, that there were school kids there. It's definitely. This is a possible idea, so
I think it's an amazing idea.
Manifest into the.
We will put it out there. Where was I? We have another live stream coming up next week. Is it next week? Or in 10 days?
Yes.
In 10 days. And we have a special guest. It's going to be a word preview.
Crossing our fingers it all works out.
With Mark Henretty.
Who was our first guest on this YouTube channel.
Yes.
Back in the day.
We are very excited. It's going to be a very interesting experience for sure. I won't be there. I said I'm going on vacation. I'm going to leave you to it. You do it without me.
I'm worried now because Sarah's supposed to be the host.
Oh.
I might have to be the host.
You might have to be the host. Yeah, I'm worried if Sarah's the host. And people are excited. Yay, Mark. Yeah. Mark. Exciting. Yeah, it's very exciting. We are so happy. And there's going to be another guest later.
We have a secret mystery guest for the world recap.
We'll keep it quiet for now, but we'll probably tell you next week when we finish the Mark one.
But we are very excited to have him on. We always really appreciate his input. And last year we did an interview and a preview, and it was very insightful. So please, everybody, tune in, ask questions. If you can't make it, you can also we should probably do something where people can ask questions in advance. I think that would be good if somebody cannot tune in. We have 10 days to prepare for that.
We'll do a tweet and an Instagram thing, asking people to submit their questions, and also go on our Discord as well, obviously.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Our Patreon, you can be on our exclusive Discord.
That's true.
Who is commentating Worlds? I don't know if we can say that. We might know. It might be obvious, but yeah.
Are we allowed to say that? I don't know.
I don't think it's been said publicly, but he said it immediately as soon as we spoke to him.
Well, that should be
That should be a very big clue.
Well, I don't know.
If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe and you'll get all of the notifications, and we will try to have better internet.
We will come very well prepared.
If you donate to us, we'll have more funding to put into our
crowdfunding internet for Sarah.
Oh god, she's got to go. I think that's a sign that we've ended.
Yeah, I think that's a sign. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, yes, the ISU actually made the right choice.
He's also got a slightly better schedule now. He sadly has been eliminated from Dancing on Ice. So,
yeah. Their loss is our gain.
Yeah.
Sarah's tuning in and out.
Oh, dear.
We should end this. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all of your comments. I wasn't expecting so many comments about Junior, so I'm very excited to see all of you so engaged and so interested in all of this. And yes, hopefully we'll see you next week. Well, you guys, I won't be here again, but yes. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
I was waiting for Sarah to join again, but I don't think it's happening.
No, it's gone.
Yeah. Bye.